Hello, Marie. Okay, I got a couple on here. A few more joining in now. Okay, we're just getting started. Let's see. Where to start here? There's been a lot going on. That man, oh man. A few more joining in now. Okay, we're just getting started. Let's see. Where to start here? There's been a lot going on. That man, oh man. Okay, sorry about that. Somehow my other audio got turned on. So, just do an audio check. I hope everything's okay. Lynn, that's horrible what just happened in Texas. That flooding was just horrible. Those poor people washed away. Yeah. That's so sad. Excuse me. Apparently that was a youth camp too for some young girls that were there. Just hang on here. Give me a minute, folks, please. Okay. Like I said, I just want to do an audio check. I hope it's good. It looks good on my end. And we'll get underway if everything's good. Just give me a thumbs up or a yay or a nay or something so I know. Until then, I'll just carry on. So, our military. Thanks, Lawrence. Audio is good. Right on. Nick. Right on. So, yeah, I see some chat there about cloud seeding. Who knows what's going on there, but man, oh man. What a shame. They're still looking for people washed away, and there's been a few, not very many, I don't think, happy stories of people that's actually survived. So it's yeah, it's a shame. So okay, moving on. Our fearful leader Mark Carney was at the Calgary Stampede. You gotta give the guy credit for having the nerve to show up there and getting booed. It was Emma, Magoo, Faye. Yeah, well, the gang's all here. So yeah, Carney shows up to Calgary Stampede. He should never have tried to flip a pancake because everything he touches is a disaster. He's like one of those guys that it doesn't matter what he does, it's a screw up. I mean, here he is. Was there 17,000 people, and the majority were booing him? And what's he doing? He's smiling and clapping, like no. And then the guy on the PA system says, "Do I hear some woos out there? Some woos or woohoo or woos?" And no, no, they weren't. Buddy, nice try, but no, they were boos. Pierre did good. He got an amazing turnout. That's no surprise. Get out of my province. Get off my lawn. Get out of my province. So, yeah, I think he did kind of hustle away there before the closing ceremonies, or maybe they haven't had their closing ceremonies yet. I guess I don't think he'll be there for them. So, yeah. Looked like a great parade. Shania Twain led the parade. They said 700 horses in there. Wow, amazing. It's got bigger since I was there. I used to live in Calgary. I lived there for 5 or 6 years, 5.5 years, something like that. So I've been to a few stampedes, that's for sure. I never missed one when I was there. So, Phil, YouTube's screwing around with the comment board, are they? Wow. So, I wouldn't doubt that, Phil, one bit. I know what they're up to. I mentioned things on here they don't like. So, they do all kinds of tricks. Dodge Challenger, 700 horses, yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, they do all kinds of tricks. So, okay, on with the military here. The big announcement that Carney made, these billions of dollars he's going to toss into the military. He's going to buy jets. He's going to buy submarines. He's going to buy ships. He's going to buy tanks and, yeah, all kinds of things. And the military's getting a raise, and it's it's all on our dime. And the idiot doesn't have a clue what he's doing or what he's talking about. So this came up. I'm going to play this. I'm not... I'm not going to read this. I'll let the, whatever it is, I think it's AI reading it, but it's 4.5 minutes long. So, let's see, what do I got to do here? Get this going. I got to turn my mic off.
Canada's deficit could average $78 billion over 4 years as finances deteriorate. Think tank. The federal government's spending plans could result in the country hitting an average yearly deficit of $78 billion over the next 4 years, adding approximately $350 billion to Canada's debt, in what a new report calls a potential deteriorating fiscal outlook. The country's deficit will hit $92 billion in 2025 to 26 because of the Liberal government's recent pledge to boost military spending to hit the NATO target of 2% of GDP by the end of the fiscal year, the C.D. Howe Institute said in a July 3 report. The Liberal government's costed platform released during the last election forecasted that Ottawa would run average annual deficits of $56.2 billion over the course of 4 years, adding a total of $225 billion to Canada's debt. The government did not release a budget or economic plan this spring, instead promising to release a budget when Parliament resumes in the fall. However, Parliamentary Budget Officer Yves Giroux recently projected this year's deficit could fall between $60 billion and $70 billion. The C.D. Howe Institute's potential fiscal outlook for Canada calculated the deficit by taking the Liberals' costed platform, updating the economic assumptions using the more optimistic of the two scenarios outlined in the Bank of Canada's April 2025 Monetary Policy Report, and factoring in likely policy changes and new spending items from the government. The Bank of Canada's MRP outlined one hypothetical scenario where most tariffs imposed by the United States are negotiated away, except for tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum assumed to be 25%, while the second, more pessimistic scenario assumes the United States maintains 12% tariffs on Canadian goods and 25% tariffs on motor vehicles and auto parts. In actuality, the United States currently has 25% tariffs on goods not covered under the United States-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement, 25% tariffs on vehicles and parts, 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum, and 10% tariffs on energy and potash. C.D. Howe said the end result of their calculations was a marked deterioration of Canada's fiscal situation that is far removed from the government's April 2024 budget projection of a $20 billion deficit by 2028 to 29. It portrayed its prediction of a $78 billion annual deficit as an optimistic scenario that assumes government fines and savings are realized in full. The report also noted that with NATO's new pledge for countries to spend 5% of GDP on defense by 2035, Canada's deficit could be $17.8 billion higher over 4 years. And by 2035, new defense commitments alone could add $68.4 billion to the deficit. Prime Minister Mark Carney has said reaching this new target is achievable because Ottawa is already investing in areas that fall under the 1.5% defense-adjacent category, related to items like critical infrastructure, civil preparedness, cyber defense, and bolstering the industrial base. The other 3.5% of the pledge is related to core defense spending. The report also criticized the government for splitting spending into the two categories of operating and capital, and only targeting a balanced budget for operating expenses. The rationale for introducing a capital budget is unclear. The report said, adding this would be a serious blow to transparency and accountability. During the election, Carney said he would separate the federal government's operating and capital budgets and make changes to each, allowing Ottawa to run a small deficit on capital spending that aligns with our fiscal capacity and balance the operational budget within 3 years. The Conservatives have accused the Liberals of trying to use an accounting trick to hide Canada's fiscal situation. CD Howe said the Canadian government needs to address the fiscal forecast by dropping more costly platform initiatives from the next budget or funding them through existing programs, such as $10 billion for infrastructure transfer funds, as well as $3.1 billion in total for 64 small-scale platform measures. The report also said the government should consider increasing the GST rate to raise additional revenue, because this would be the least damaging option to increase taxes. It also suggested cutting federal transfers to the provinces and territories, saying while this would not be a popular decision, it would allow for a healthier country with more self-sufficient regional governments.
This year, so we want to set everything ready for the fall and winter time. Some of it will be pay increase, some of it will be for benefit and allowances for specific trades or specific functions. So for example, recruiting and training is a priority. We want to make sure that we encourage instructors in our schools. So there's going to be additional benefits for instructors as an example. So this is what we are putting together at the moment and making sure that we are ready to implement, because there's going to be complexities behind implementing it. But this is something that we are getting done this year. We've surpassed our objective this year, first in 10 years, and overall we finished the year with plus 2,000. So when we account for attrition and then when we account for the number of people joining, which we had a very, very good year in terms of lowest attrition, again, in 10 years. So very good retention rate, and then a lot more people coming in, which means that we are actually growing the CAF at the moment, which is again, very positive.
So, our Minister of Defense. I wonder just how much is going to maybe tampons for men's washrooms in the military, and maybe nail polish and instead of boot polish. Like, military is a bit of a joke. That's why they're getting retention, is because they don't have to really do much. They can just kind of dress casual and cross-dress and do whatever they want, hang out. They're not all like that, by all means. There's a lot of good military we have, and thankfully we do. It's the government that is creating this and pushing it, and it's ridiculous. So anyways, who knows where the money's going, right? It's embarrassing to say the least, disturbing, but that's Canada, under the Liberals. Now, maybe they're thinking too big. Why are they going with these fighter jets, the don't have any aircraft carriers. We can't afford one of those anyways. The tanks, I guess there must be for home defense. We don't have the the amount of transport planes to load up a bunch of tanks and send over to protect Europe like Carney wants to do. Instead of protecting the homeland, just go over there and protect Europe. So, anyways, none of it makes sense. What are we going to have for ships? Are they going to be merchant marines? Like, they're not going to be battleships. Like, what are they going to be? It's a couple icebreakers. Submarines, they tried that once. One didn't even make it across the ocean without catching fire and killing the crew, or some of the crew, and the other one hit bottom, and that had to go into dry dock, and they were in mothballs in the UK when they bought them. The UK just chuckled when they waved goodbye to them, seen them go, and thought those stupid Canucks buying our old diesel subs. Oh boy. That's the way the Canadian, that's called beefing up military. Now, look what China's doing. China's not messing around. They are, let's see, what have I got here for them, these guys? This is the future of warfare. Not living in the past like Carney, just spending money to spend money to appease NATO and President Trump. That I don't think Trump even likes NATO anymore. I don't blame him. I think it's a waste of money. I think it's a dangerous organization along with the UN and all that. You know that. I've always said that. So, anyways, let's see. This one here, I'm going to see what I got here on the screen. Before I bring it up. Okay, yeah, this is one of the things China's got going here. So I'm going to show you this one. See, China, they think small and plentiful and cost effective. Getting the job done, getting it done well, and getting it done cheaply. Not like what's going on here in this country. So I'll bring this up. Cut my mic. So this here is, where am I here? Hang on. This here is it's a mosquito-sized drone, and this is a close-up of it here. If you've seen it in the air, you wouldn't even notice it. It's the size of a thumbnail or fingernail, it says. And it's as small as a fingernail, and it flaps its little leaf-like wings and insect legs for covert missions, information gathering, and tracking individuals. So these things are cheap to make. They can turn them out for probably a couple of bucks. Not billions of dollars like Carney wants to spend. A few bucks. And they can put hundreds of thousands of these things out wherever they've got to go. And they probably fit right in with a swarm of mosquitoes out by my camp. I know that. I wouldn't be able to tell them apart from the real things because I'm covered in them. A video published by state media over the weekend, scientists are seen holding up the mosquito-like robot, which they say will perform a range of military and civilian activities. But experts warn the drone's miniature size will mean it can easily and covertly access private indoor areas and listen in on people's conversations. The eerie device has 2 yellow leaf-like wings, a black thin body, and 3 wiry legs. Experts have warned the size of the drone means it will be much quieter than traditional models. This could mean greater access to restricted areas such as secure government facilities. Sam Bresnick, a research fellow at Georgetown Center for Security and Emerging Technology, told The Telegraph, if China is able to produce mosquito-sized drones, it would likely be interested in using them for various intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance tasks, especially in places that larger drones struggle to access, such as indoor areas. These drones could be used to track individuals or listen in on conversations. Think about it, folks. Just think about it for a second. How many Chinese are in the United States of America and in Canada and UK and other allied countries, Australia, New Zealand, right? These little things here, they could have them in their pocket, and they could be by a military installation or anywheres, right? And send that in and get all kinds of information. So, like I say, they're probably a dime a dozen. So they could probably be mailed into them from it wouldn't be from mainland China. They'd mail them in from another country that another operative is in, right? In addition to posing a security threat, micro drones like these could also wind up being adopted for personal interests. Timothy Heath, a senior defense researcher in the U.S., cautioned these tiny devices could even be exploited by criminals trying to gain access to people's passwords. So this comes as it was revealed. Killer camouflage drones the size of insects could be used by Russia and China to commit untraceable knocking people off. Tracy follows an ex-Google futurist warned they could even carry deadly pathogens and be used to spy on the UK. And it is a prediction that, which is a chilling echo of the Black Mirror episode, Hated in the Nation. The near-future sci-fi show envisioned a world where robot bees designed to pollinate flowers could be hijacked to take people out. The future of You author previously told The Sun, in time, one expects a drone to have the situational awareness to carry out an attack autonomously without a human in the loop. They don't even need a human. It can go do it on its own. Those little Chinamen, they're pretty smart. The big question is, what's the payload on these drones? What are you actually attaching to the drone? I wonder if they could put a little tiny needle on there or something, eh? I bet they could. increasingly over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been reading about contagious diseases and how you can potentially attach a bad one to these sorts of weapons. See, there you go. Just a little pinprick. Oh, a mosquito bit me. Ah, yeah. So not only can you identify somebody personally, you can then attack them with a disease. Terrifyingly, she warned, it could open the door for rogue nations like Russia to take out targets on UK soil without leaving a trace. So I've got this other one here. I want to bring this up. I think it's this one here. Yeah, it's this next one coming up. Now you see, I just want to say here that all these, where am I? All these weapons that China's putting out is so far advanced, and they're covering land, sea, and air. So of course they're going to be hitting from all directions, all angles, right? So this next one, I've got a couple here. One is submarine, and the other one is an airliner, a plane. The plane is unmanned, and it carries a payload that's unmanned. So I'm going to duck out, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that one. So you see, that's a sub. I think that's might be unmanned too, and it carries those little drone aerial plane type things. But it's also got, you notice that it had those like, well, like a bomb, but it had a propeller on the one end of it, and it would fly vertically. Like facing vertically, but fly sideways, right? Directional. So it could fly right over and then probably just kill the prop and let it drop. So these are very high tech and low cost. I don't know. Why aren't the Western countries, I mean, they get a little bit into drone technology, but they know this is going on. I mean, it's right here on the internet. So why aren't they, I don't know. I don't understand it. Maybe they are, but not when they advertise like Carney does that, yeah, we're going to buy some new jets, and we're going to buy some submarines, and some tanks, and some ships, and everybody's getting a raise, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, but it just don't make sense. Phil, that's a good point. Vancouver Harbor could realistically be warehousing shipping containers full of these, yeah, miniature drones destroyers, you know, yeah, you know it. They said, what, 1 out of 100 containers they get a chance to look at, or is it 1 out of 1,000? I don't know. It's not very much. So who knows what's sitting around. Even once they're out of the harbor and delivered somewhere, they could be sitting in a holding place somewheres. And I'm sure the door could open automatically. That's just what they did over in Ukraine, right? Back of a truck, shipping container, top opened up, out come the drones. So, okay, there's something else here too. Currency buying from who? Ukraine? They buy our stuff back. Stuff we sent over. It's all destroyed now. Putin got a kick out of that probably. Look at the old gear they got coming in from Canada. Okay. What else did I have here? Take a look. These ones are pretty good. These ones here, just kill my mic. So once again, pretty high-tech stuff. So, you know, I was just thinking earlier here that you know, if they wanted to, they don't even have to come in. They could already be here, and they could just hit the power plants, shorting out transformers, wreaking havoc, cause all kinds of damage, just getting into our infrastructure. And it would be so cost efficient just to put barriers over our infrastructure, like our power plants, our transformers and stuff like that, so they can't get at them. They're just not thinking here ahead for some reason. They could have all the fighter jets they want in the air, and the aircraft carriers and the tanks and all this stuff, And just a couple of those little drones come in to a power plant, and all of a sudden, everything comes to a stop. There's no electricity. People, electric cars can't go anywhere. But seriously, that's all it would take. Don't think the Chinese aren't thinking that way. But why aren't our people being a little proactive instead of reactive? You know? Flies near mosquitoes and the props chew them up. Just think what they could do to a jet engine though, and the intake on a jet engine. With a little boom thing on it to go off as soon as it hits the intake on the jet engine, right? And take down those mighty fighter jets. A swarm of them. I don't think they'd even show up on their radar if they weren't in a swarm, if they were just individuals scattered. There's no heat signature because they're all running on a battery, right? There's no exhaust or anything for them to pick up for a heat signal. So, hey, right? Very discreet. And very effective. Okay. And then, you know, they even got Phil, you're having trouble with YouTube with the comment boards, really. Obviously, for ease of monitoring, it's hard to say what's going on. The Chinese Marines, they've got a drone that flaps its wings. It looks like a bird when it's in the air. You can't tell the difference between the drone and an actual bird. It could fit right in way up with a flock of high flyers, eh? Or individually on its own, just flying across the sky. Nobody notice it, wouldn't notice any difference. And so they can, these Marines, they can come up out of the water. And, well, actually, I think I can show you that. Here it is. It's a recon drone.
In a recent exercise, a Chinese Marine soldier launched a very strange type of drone. Upon coming out of the water, the soldier for recon purposes launches a drone very similar to a bird. It is extremely or impossible to differentiate between a drone and a real bird. The flight regime is almost identical. This portable drone is quite useful as it can loiter over the battlefield and provide a valuable bird's-eye view of the target area. The endurance time is not known, owing to the lightweight and flight pattern it would be in minutes.
See, you could, if that was flying through the air, nobody'd notice it. Nobody would notice it. The military wouldn't catch it. You know. There's just so much. And this is just what we know. Just think what we don't know. This stuff is out in the public now. It's what did I say? They've got, this is a little different, this one. This is the last one. But this one here, it just shows you what they can do and the possibilities that it has. These are robot ants. These are tiny little boogers. Where am I here? Okay, let's go. So anyways, that was a little look at these, all this high-tech stuff that's out there, not all, but just a quick glimpse of a little bit of it, like we're just touching on it, right? It's, I don't know. And they say now that with the AI, it's going to increase so much faster, the technology. Fill tiny robots in the pokes, yeah. Stay away from that stuff. Anti-humanism and transhumanism is the order of the day, yeah. Wow. I mean, it is to a point where it is just crazy. Just wonder, there was something I seen on, can't remember, it was a gate, oh no, maybe it was Climate Depot. Methinks it was. Check and see. Oh, no. The future of vanilla ice cream's at stake because of climate change, so I'll just throw that out there. So if you want any vanilla ice cream, you might have to get it before the climate changes anymore. We're losing everything, even our vanilla ice cream now. They're going to take it from us. So, I don't know. Climate change. When all else fails, they just bring up climate change. So, Liquid Gal, how you doing? Japan has made a little robot that can target pain by crawling up the spine and delivering pain meds. Where are we? Directly where the pain is, it can go up or down the spine. That's what they're saying about those little ant type things. They could deliver, or they could clean arteries, go and clean arteries out. If you don't mind something like that crawling up and down your your arteries. So, Lord, you got vanilla and ice cream in your deep freeze. You might have to stock up. There's a lot of stuff going down here. I mean, we got a lot of climate issues. Did you see what MTG did? I love that woman. Yeah. Yeah, I love her. She's bang on. I'm going to bring this up if you haven't seen it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, introducing a bill that prohibits injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the express purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. It will be a felony offense. I have been researching weather modification and working with the Legislative Council for months writing this bill. It will be similar to Florida's Senate Bill 56. We must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering. I want clean air, clean skies, clean rain, water, clean groundwater, and sunshine just like God created it. No person, company, entity, or government should ever be allowed to modify our weather by any means possible. Good for her. Finally, somebody's taking this seriously. They'll call her a nut job and everything else, but she's on it. Good to see. What to say there about that? Anyways, my garden is still not growing. Other people's gardens are having a hard time. Haven't seen any bees around. I don't know. If I wouldn't want to be relying on it for a food source. I know that. I've always had a good one, but now this year it's just a mess. Vivo Cristo Rey, any news about Vancouver Island? I don't want to fly by Haven't seen siblings, nieces, and nephews since 2019. Only my mom when she visited a couple of times. Don't know anything about Vancouver Island. Liquid Gates and Nestle buying up land that have aquifers and underground water source. It's going to come down to, it's going to be frankenfood, right? They used to call it genetically modified seed to something that'll grow in the soil that they've destroyed. So that's just my personal opinion or thoughts on that. The fact they won't let damaged EV on the ferry, yeah, burn the ferry up. Emmy, haven't seen hornets yet. Stung last summer. Lawrence only got one yellow flower so far, 2 months in, Fred. Well, dandelions did good this year. I don't think there's anything they can spray short of Roundup up there to get rid of dandelions. Might have to live on dandelions. Oh, Vivo, Crystal Ray, someone said something about killer drones in Vancouver. Don't know, never heard. Fanny Bay oysters, Phil. The oysters on the East Coast have got a virus. They say, well, they're not really harmful to people, but you know, it's only killing 60 to 80%, I think, of the oysters, but it doesn't hurt humans, they say. Could be part of the Depop program. It's okay, don't worry about it. There's 20% of the oysters lived. You can eat those. Yeah. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they say that. Maybe they already have. I might have missed it. Can't believe anything to tell you. So it's a messed up world out there, folks. The fish, wild fish are full of, they're full of worms. I'm trying to think of the term for them. Things you don't want in you. But they're, yeah, I forget where I seen that. I just seen that today. And they are, I think almost all the wild fish on the market right now, I've got them, parasites, parasitic worms. So they're, yeah, they can cause all kinds of different diseases and problems. If you cook them well, I mean, cod has always been wormy. So you just got to cook it well, that's for sure, to kill everything in there. No sushi. No sushi for you. It might be the last thing you eat. Yeah. So anyways, MTG's on it for the spraying. That's awesome that she's doing that. What else do I have here? Is it the pundit? I seen something earlier on here. Fighter jets intercept the 11th aircraft near Trump's Bedminster Golf Club over the 4th of July weekend. They had 11 planes flying over the president's golf club. Wow. Yeah, Vancouver Island, the ferries. That's, I hated that. The lineups for the ferries was ridiculous. 3 sailing weight. Wow. Start date January 26th for to flag all purchase over 1,000. Wow. I know there's a 10,000 one too, for transferring funds. But they want to follow everything. There's a lot of stuff going down worldwide with currencies. The dollar, the currency values are going down big time. All the countries that were buying up gold are now buying up silver. So that silver's going to go probably way up in cost, in price. This is where I've seen it. Dr. Peter McCullough warns about parasites in salmon and other fish, yeah. So this has been, these tapeworms, 3 or 4 different types of worms in them. So, not a big fish eater myself. I'm probably going to be less of a fish eater now. So it says Mexicans are losing their minds as Americans immigrate into their country for better living conditions. It's a mixed up world. So, okay, Marie saw the first monarch this week, almost transparent. Had a long trip. Wow. I thought I seen one flutter by the other day. I'm pretty sure I did. Emily, you own nothing. Are you happy? Are you happy, Lawrence? Yeah, are you happy? Very happy, but only in Jesus. Get worms fast for 3 days. You start wanting to drag your bum along the floor, you know you probably got worms, eh? First sign. Yes. Okay. I've got a new app on my phone. I'm going to probably over the summer sometimes, on the might not be around the weekends. What I'm going to try to do is maybe do a live from out in the bush over the cell tower. See how that works. I also downloaded a new app for my phone for recording the night sky. I'm looking forward to trying that, especially out in the bush where it's big sky country and it's well lit up and the fireflies are everywhere, and I can set up on a tripod and see what I can get. So anyways, I'll probably be doing it from the pickup, from the F-150, to keep out of the flies, mosquitoes, and all the other types. Should be interesting. I had to buy a special attachment to put a mic onto this new phone. The problem with that is it goes into the charge port, so if my battery starts to go down, then that's the end of it. So, but probably give it a shot because I'm fighting weather and stuff. I got to get my truck in. I got to get a new timing set put in. It's $3,500, I think, is what it's going to cost for parts and labor. So I got to keep my truck up and running. And I'm redoing my driveway myself, fixing up the pavement. I get all kinds of stuff on the go, and I just don't have the time, right? So I got to take the good weather when it comes. I got to do a motor change on a lawnmower here this week. And there's just on and on and on. So anyways, just giving you the heads up. And we'll give it a shot. And maybe I can give you some screenshots too of what it looks like there. The problem is when I get down to my place, there's no signal, so I have to stay up on the hill a little bit. So Lauren, stay away from the Sasquatch meat. Yuck. That's for Phil. I've been watching a lot of Sasquatch stuff online. Somehow it come up, I watched one video and now I get lots of popping up, right? You know how that works. Marco's real and infrared camera is supposed to show unusual things. Has anybody here ever watched the channel Plant Abundance? The guy's in California. He does a lot of live stream night shots of the sky. If you haven't watched Plant Abundance, you might want to check it out. Remember the drones in the U.S., a little bit in Canada and other places that the U.S. was really loaded with them there last year, I think it was. All over the place, they're showing these huge drones. They're just hovering around and they're doing weird things. Well, that came to a sudden end. It seemed that all of a sudden they were there, and then all of a sudden it was gone, right? So they were gone. So, but Plant Abundance. It sounds like it's a gardening channel, but it's not. And he's set up on a tripod. And he's seeing all these lights over Southern California, and it's really wild to watch. And he's been doing this for a long time, so you might want to check him out. Mr. Magoo, that was plasma. Well, we don't really know for sure. I don't think exactly. It could be. But the drones are not all of this planet. Yeah, that's why I'm saying watch this, check out this Plant Abundance. Today he had a video this morning, and it was daylight. And he was driving by, and he seen a plane in the air that had stopped. And it was like frozen. And he pulled over to get his phone out to get a video of it. And before he get his phone turned on, it disappeared. It was gone. It just vanished. He's talking about cloaking. And he said, this isn't the first time that's happened. So apparently the guy does a lot of sky watching. Marcos, that's it. It's two different words, though. They're two separate words. And yeah, but these ones at night too. They're in patterns. They're in triangles. They're in squares, rectangles, whatever. They're holding a pattern is what I'm trying to get at. And yeah, it's different. It's interesting. Turn up my volume. Okay, I can do that. I'll try that. Is that any better, Lawrence? I brought it up a little bit. As soon as I do, I gotta sneeze. Oh no. So let me know if that's any better there, Lawrence, okay? Okay, good. It was kind of, I had it down a bit because it was kind of, I checked playback. I very rare I ever do that. Go back and look at my live streams. But I did one that was kind of buzzing a bit. I think it was up too loud. Liquid Gal. I don't believe humans once occupied Mars, but we killed that planet and found Earth. I have said this for over 30 plus years. Oh, I do believe humans once occupied Mars. We killed that planet and found Earth. Phil, much coming out about Sasquatch these days. A lot of videos now, and they're looking real. You know, they're not those fuzzy long shots that are, you can't tell what it is. So, and then I heard the audio of apparently one howling in the woods. It's really weird what's going on. Like, see, the thing is now we have the internet, so people can, and we have better cameras, right? Everybody's, not everybody, but probably 99% of the people got a cell phone in their pocket with a high definition camera. You know, you can zoom in without it getting all fuzzy. What's going on there with my software's flashing at me? Oh yeah, how's it gonna go? Maybe I'll just close a couple of windows out here. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, with all the technology, everybody's got it right in their pocket. You know, like, what was it I seen there? Well, I've seen a couple of strange things in the sky, especially up in the bush, because there's no light pollution, right? So that's why I like to get some. Looking forward to trying out my new software here on my camera on the phone with a tripod, so I can let it sit there on the sky, right, where it's nice pitch black with just the open sky, and I'm going to have a noisemaker with me, you know, a long-barreled noisemaker with me, because I don't know what's coming out of the woods. So if I'm there by myself at night, yeah, I'm probably going to have something right with me. I might even get a fire going just to help keep things away. Okay, now the woods are creepy at night. Tell me about it. I got a lot of bears. I don't like bears. Chris, right? You got a flip phone. I know some people got flip phones. Liquid Gal, Fred, BC Hemlock Mountain is now called Sasquatch Mountain. The whole valley is known as Sasquatch Valley for the natives by Harrison Hot Springs, BC. I heard of that when I was in BC, Sasquatch Valley. Emma, back in the old days, hunters would see strange things in the frozen Arctic. There's strange things done in the land of the midnight sun. But the strangest I ever did see was that night on the barge of Lake Lamarge, they cremated Sam McGee. Robert Service. I need a big dog. Yeah, I do. Big Rottweiler. Something that'll hook onto the bear's butt, won't let go. Easy B, worked in Jasper, up in Jasper for 2 years. Some weird stuff going on in the woods. Oh, I bet. It'd be really loud, yeah. What I got's pretty loud, yeah. feel really threatened by Bigfoot, rebuke it. Them in Jesus' name, they will leave. They don't like that, eh? They're atheists. Yeah, the mountains are different. You know, I spent a lot of time in the coastal range and a little bit in the Rockies. So, yeah. Even the woods around here. I've seen a couple of things. One, I think it was the eastern wolf because it wasn't a dog and it was definitely bigger than a coyote. The coyotes here are a lot bigger than the coyotes out west. And they're not as shy as the ones out west. That's kind of disturbing. But this was bigger than that. And the head looked, it didn't have that coyote head, that pointy little snout, eh? And I seen it, there's some tall grass, probably about 2 feet tall, on a road coming off my camp road, just right by my camp actually. And I seen this head sticking above the grass looking at me. I stopped the truck, and I looked at it, and it was looking back at me, and then it stood up and bolted the other way. And when it stood up, I go, whoa, that thing is big. I think that was an eastern wolf. I had a coyote right beside my truck, walking right beside me, and then I stopped the truck and it stood there and stared at me. Wasn't scared at all. That's not like the coyotes out west. Our coyotes are mating with our wolves, yeah. And we got the eastern black panther has been sighted here again a few times now. They said they were extinct, but yeah, you hear that a lot. Oh, that animal's, you hear about different animals. That's extinct. It has been around here for 150 years. Oh yeah? I seen the tracks in the snow one time, the big cat tracks with a dip in between them where the tail was hitting. That's not a bobcat and that's not a lynx because they don't have tails. So that's, I was just a kid. I was about 14 years old out in the woods with snowshoes with a 22. That wouldn't have done much damage. No, they were big tracks too. Man, I'm telling you. Mario sounds like the Art Bell show. It does, doesn't it? You never know what we're going to talk about on here, eh? So, yeah, the wildlife, you don't know when you're in the bush what's out there. So, I usually got something with me when I'm walking through the woods. I pretty much always have something with me. Sometimes it might just be a chainsaw, but that works pretty good too. If the noise doesn't get it, the chain will. International tons have recorded black panther in Ontario. Okay. I just thought of something. This happened years ago, northern part of New Brunswick, Miramichi. There was a guy working in a laydown yard for logs. I think that's where it was. I think he was a night watchman, and he seen a kangaroo go hopping by. He was on night shift, and he reported it to the supervisor. He said, there's a kangaroo here in the yard. And they figured, this guy's lost it. Maybe he shouldn't be on night shift anymore. And come to find out, the kangaroo had jumped ship because there's a big port there. And apparently the kangaroo jumped ship and made it onto land. And the guy spotted it. They ended up catching it later on, but some of the things you don't expect to see. One thing you don't expect to see here in New Brunswick is a kangaroo. Nick, I saw some of that Black Panther thing. I don't know Yeah, the Dungarvan Hooper, you got it, Barkley, yeah. Yeah, the Dungarvan Hooper. There's a tail. It's a good tail. Tales from the Miramichi. Yeah, Phil, you got the Bigfoot channel. Watched. That's what it's called. I watched. I've watched one video there. I'll have to go back to it again. But I don't think you had much on there. I think you had, I forget, but upload some more stuff. Ago, you got lots of black in Edmonton. You know. Phil had 3 UFO experiences over 80 Bigfoot. Wow. I've had a couple of UFOs. One when I was 17 years old. That was a wild one. That was high in the sky, way high altitude. Beautiful night, summer night, clear night. There'd been a lot of sightings around that area. And my mother was driving. I was on the passenger side. And I was looking out the window and I spotted it. And I got her to stop and we sat there and we watched it. And it was very high and it wasn't moving. And then all of a sudden it just shot from one part of the sky across to the other in a fraction. I don't even think it was a second hardly. It was just there and then over there. And it danced around and did a couple of maneuvers. It was really something to see. And then it just disappeared. And the other one I seen was out in the bush by my place, and it was just a bright light, no sound, and it was coming across. It didn't look to be that far away, but it wasn't going very fast, but it was big. And it didn't have a beam. It's just a light. It wasn't like a spotlight, so it wasn't a search plane or anything. There was no sound. And then it just disappeared. The light went out. There was nothing there. Wow, that's weird. Oh, Phil, yeah, Phil owns Watched. Lawrence, yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's 30 videos there now, okay. I'll check it out. Check it out after this. I'll sub you. I don't think I subbed you. I'm kicking myself for not stopping to investigate a ferry last week. Well, it was Pride Week, right? Anything unusual about a ferry in Pride Week or Pride Month? What you see? No, you cannot unsee her now. That's right, yeah. Watched implants, how to locate them. Mushrooms don't cause hallucinations of large, hairy, stinky people. They're implants. People, I think there are more and more demons showing themselves. We don't know what lurks in the dark. We don't know what's going on. Pride crap is big in Yellowknife now. Wow. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not on board with it, I know that, but what do you do? What do you do? It's fading out, it's supposed to be, in other countries I've seen. So, you know, Phil, look what Barry Trudeau did to Canada. That's what he did. Yep. As soon as he get in there, his little girl posture. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's like you say, there's a lot of stuff going on that we do not have any idea what it is. And with the age of the internet, like I say, and cameras and all that stuff, there's just more getting out there. And it's so easy for somebody to fire up a YouTube channel and get their videos up. So it's nice to see. Carney's wife looks like his brother. Yeah. I'm just going to look something up here. Okay. Where is it here? I'm bringing it up, bringing it up. Bear with me. Yeah, here it is. Did you people catch this yet? Have you found this? Have you heard this? Is the information that come out about Diana Fox Carney? Diana Fox Carney's aunt is Frances Fox Piven. Piven, as in Cloward and Piven. The Cloward-Piven strategy, you guys are probably familiar with this. I'm going to read this off anyways, right? This is her aunt. This explains a lot about what's going on with those two. It's funny that they're not seen together too much, and they don't hang around close together. She wasn't out in Calgary. Anyways, it's a political strategy outlined in 1966 by sociologist and political activist Richard Cloward and Frances Fox Piven. It's a strategy of forcing political change leading to societal collapse through orchestrated crisis, the Cloward-Piven strategy. What's going on here in Canada with Carney? Why is she not with him? You know why? She's working on this behind the scenes. He's the front man. She's in behind the scenes. Now, her aunt right now is probably, I think she's in her 90s. She's still around, as far as I know. They want, it's to overload it seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism by overloading the government bureaucracy with a flood of impossible demands, with amassing massive unpayable national debt, and other methods such as unfettered immigration, thus pushing society into crisis and economic collapse by overwhelming the system. There you go. Frances Fox Piven, Diana Fox Carney, Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah. People voted for this crap. Vivo Cristo Rey. Never heard of the Cloward-Piven strategy? Yeah. That was what, 1966, eh? They tried it in the U.S., didn't go over too good. So, it seems to be working pretty good here. Trudeau set it up. Carney's in for drive the final nail in. How are we going to get him out? I don't know. Democracies are good until they don't work. So, Yes, I meant to mention that before. So that just jogged my memory about Diana Fox Carney and her auntie. Her nice little auntie. Nick Fortieri, Century Initiation isn't big enough of a puss off. Well, I'll tell you, that's part of the game, right? Part of the plan. Cloward Piven. Century Initiative, yeah, right, sorry. Once again, the NDP could bring down the Libs, yeah, if they could get their act together, if they didn't have that, I can't think of a nice way to describe the guy saying, so, if they had enough old style NDP back in there to steal some votes, we might have a chance. Vivo, they'll try that strategy in New York. Yeah, New York's in trouble with that dude. So, Phil, they're very scared of Pierre returning to Parliament. Oh yeah, the media don't like it either. And Emma heard of it years ago on Francis and Friends. Yeah, see, that went out. That kind of faded out, right? But now the niece is in. The niece is in power. She's in New York. Well, I don't know, she could be in Canada now, but I doubt it. They don't hang around together only at certain times for publicity for a shot. But then she's always 10, 15 feet behind him. He doesn't want to walk beside her or be with her. Look at the difference between with Trump and Melania. And look at Carney and his wife. Well, Lawrence, regarding Pierre, how do you go from a huge lead to well, Marie by cheating in elections. Well, the NDP fell apart and they voted Liberal is one way. Trump said he was going to annex Canada. Carney jumped on that and ran with it. And people got their elbows up. They believed him. The media pushed it. The conservatives did gain a lot of seats. So if the NDP hadn't have fallen apart and Trump hadn't have got in on our election, we wouldn't be in this mess, I don't think. So, and Fay, a huge Liberal riding, was added to Pierre's riding. Plus that group added 50 names to the ballot. Yeah, it was a mess. But I said give Carney 6 months to a year. I'm going to stick with that. I said the Conservatives were going to win it with a majority. I was wrong. But I'm going to stick my neck out again and say 6 months to a year. 6 months for the stuff to really show up. Notice how they took the summer off and no budget and right. So he's hiding stuff right now, and he can't hide forever. So that 6 month time frame will give the stuff to start showing up. 6 months after that, people are going to start screaming. And maybe the opposition parties, the NDP, within a year will have enough support back again that they can be confident that they're going to steal some seats and possibly become the opposition. We'll see. We'll see, but a lot of damage can be done in a year, folks. We're not going to get back on track. after being pillaged for 10 years plus, it's going to take a long time to get back on track. Not in our lifetime, a lot of us. Anybody over 60, you're not going to see it. So, it is what it is, and that's where we're at. Well, folks, time flies. So, do it again next week. Hope you all have a great week. Thank you so much for being here. Covered a few things about some drones and some military and some Sasquatch and critters and everything else. So we'll see you later, and like I say, never take the path of least resistance. God bless. See you all next week, hopefully. Okay, I gotta shut her down.